Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I guess in California, it's still morning. And I'm super excited to be chatting with you this morning.
Likewise, it's always a pleasure chatting with you.
Aw. So you and I share a strong, I don't know, love IFS and eating disorders and using that modality as kind of the preferred modality in treating eating disorders. So I think that's a fair statement.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
we're kindred spirits in our two professional passions of
I agree.
IFS and working with clients with disordered eating and body shame.
Yeah. So, which makes me super thrilled to have you be a part of the conference this year. And you're going to be doing a couple talks, one with me, or just be a quick chat about why IFS and eating disorders. And then you're going to be doing a talk on somatics and eating disorders and IFS.
Yep.
So I thought this morning, if you wanted to just start by introducing yourself and talking a little bit about all the amazing things that you have going on and that you're doing and just a little bit about yourself.
I'd be happy to do that. And first of all, it's a pleasure to be here and share my two professional passions with everyone who's watching this video today. So a little bit about myself. I live here in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I have a group practice called Kindful Body, and we're an IFS-informed group practice. We have therapists and dietitians, and we work with clients struggling with disordered eating, body shame, trauma, anxiety, perfectionism, OCD, many of the things that we see when someone has a disrupted relationship with food in their body, some of these other depression, anxiety, some of these other parts that show up in someone's system. And I also am co-founder of another group practice called the IFS Telehealth Collective, and that is a multi-state group practice. I started with two lead IFS trainers, Marielle Pastor and Paul Ginter. We really had this mission to bring IFS therapy that's true to the model out there into the world. And so all of our clinicians, they get consultation with Paul and Marielle, and we're just doing a lot of great work out there. And so all that is all online as well. And the states that we're in are California, New York, Massachusetts, Florida, Oregon, and Michigan. I've got them
Great.
all. Yeah,
Super exciting. I love that.
thanks.
And so the IFS trained therapists kind of work under the collective umbrella. And
Mhm.
so people who are wanting to do IFS healing or do get IFS therapy can find clinicians there.
Everyone's at least level 1 trained. We have some therapists who are level 3 trained, level 2 trained and certified. When you work with therapists from the collective, you know that you're going to get IFS that's true to the model.
It's great. It's really good. And then tell me a little bit about your talks and why you decided to lecture on the things that you're lecturing on.
The first talk that you and I are doing came out of a talk that we did at IADEP at the national conference. Golly, was that a year ago?
Yeah.
About this time a year ago.
Yes. That you
And
did by yourself because I was sick with COVID. So yes, so you
oh,
did it. Yes.
I did it by myself, and I missed you. But we did actually do it online together
Sure.
prior to the conference. So that is available, I think, through IADEP, the presentation that we gave. As we were figuring out this presentation on why IFS is such a great model working with clients with disordered eating and eating disorders, we started sharing some clinical examples, and that was the inspiration for our talk together. Is so we're not only going to be doing some presentation on why we feel IFS is a great model working with someone's system, their parts around food and their body, parts that might be turning towards food. So the parts that turn away from food, the parts that turn towards food for a variety of reasons. And when we were chatting, what I really enjoyed was starting to talk about some clinical examples that we noticed, like the difference working in different treatment centers that were IFS informed versus those that weren't.
Yeah.
And so that will be a part of our talk.
Yeah. And tell me about your talk on somatics and IFS and eating disorders.
Yes, I have a love of somatic work, and I feel very fortunate to be on Susan McConnell's teaching staff. And Susan McConnell is an early trainer in the IFS model. And what she has developed and what she brings to IFS is embodiment practices that can be integrated at any part of the IFS model. So it's like the integration of these two. And what we're learning, continuing to learn, is how trauma disrupts our embodiment, right? And we're also living in a culture that encourages us to be disembodied, encourages everything from let's focus on how we think in our schools and our culture, right? What you think is prioritized over what you're feeling. And so you combine this culture, we also get all these other diet culture, wellness culture messages. You combine that with the burdens that we have from traumatic experiences, life adversities, devaluing experiences in our lives, also cause us to be disembodied. And with somatic IFS, there is gentle invitations to become re-embodied, which is so healing. And I have a quote here from Bessel van der Kolk from
Yeah.
God Keeps the Score. And what he says is trauma victims can't recover until they become familiar with and befriend the sensations in their bodies. And I don't know about you, Theresa, but many of my clients, their body is the last place they want to be.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm like, how many clients do you have that really want to embody? Yeah, it's probably like really scary for our clients to really think about that. And my guess, not my guess, is my experience is that the eating disorder symptoms are protectors that really keep them from being embodied, whether it's through binging or starving or purging. Like kind of the protective goal of that is to not be embodied.
Yes, yes. And it gets reinforced, especially with like restrictive behaviors, right? You get the compliments about how you're taking care of your body, or the compensatory and restrictive behaviors.
Yeah.
So it reinforces it. But you're right, it keeps you disembodied. That's like the heart of a disordered relationship with food in your body, is those parts are keeping you from being at home in your body. And what I love about Susan's work is that's where we start. We start with those fears around those parts that don't want to feel,
Yeah.
and to understand what they're holding and offer some give them the attention and honoring them in a way that is very respectful and isn't coercive and overriding.
Yeah.
And working with all the parts to help them heal. And so there's more self-energy within a system, which I believe self-energy is healing, right? It's the way that we can relate to our parts, to others, to the world around us.
I was just sitting here as I'm listening to you talk about this and thinking about the conference and kind of the lineup and having Dick Schwartz doing an entire half day of kind of the overview of the model, teaching the model, which I think is such a tremendous gift, followed by other speakers, a lived experience panel in the afternoon. And then day two, you're going to be doing your piece. And so I was just thinking about how lovely that's going to flow into your talk on the next day to really pull all those pieces together.
Well, kudos to you for putting it all together, Theresa. I know it hasn't been an easy task, but
It hasn't, but I could not do it without you and all the other presenters being willing to come to Evansville. So I'm super excited and I will see you in April. Thanks so much for doing this talk.
oh, it's my pleasure. I can't wait. I can't wait to see you in person again. And I'm looking forward to seeing hopefully many of you at the conference, or hopefully you'll be able to watch it online.
Thanks.